Talk with the one, the only Margot Leitman, and we're talking storytelling. We're talking growing up in the Bronx. That would be your father.
Yeah.
But we were just talking about names. You named your son Levon after Levon Helm. I love that because I love the band, love Levon Helm. And, talk about a storyteller. Now, there you go, right?
Yeah, I mean, he told great stories.
Putting it to music.
And you know his story about when he died?
What is the? I think I know what you're talking about, but enlighten me.
He had throat cancer.
Right.
It was gone, and then it came back, and then he.
So hard to see him with the pictures with the steroids, and the medication.
And he decided not to do the. He could go in and do the radiation and the chemo and stay alive longer, but he would not. He couldn't sing anymore.
Yeah.
And he said, "Forget it."
Very sad.
And he went out singing though.
Yeah, singing.
He did what he loved until he died.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell every picture. Levon Helm is one of those guys, and obviously you know who we're talking about, right? Are you a big fan of the band?
Yeah.
You like the band?
Yeah,
but
sure.
Levon Helm is one of those guys where you could tell how much he loves singing from a still photograph.
Yeah.
Just any still photograph. I'm like, anybody from the band, Danko and those guys.
Oh, God,
they're all just like, when every once in a while they get together with Dylan after they broke up, after that, the last waltz was out and everything. And just like every note, just unbelievable. Like Joe Cocker,
Oh, I love Joe Cocker. And his Levon Helm's hands were bleeding by the end of the last waltz when he was playing the
When he's
drums.
playing guitar, yeah.
No, when he was playing drums, Levon.
Oh, I'm sorry, drums, exactly.
Yeah, his
drums.
hands were bleeding through the drumsticks.
That's what I meant to say. Yeah.
Final number in the encore.
A lot of people know about the band. The greatest part about a lot of that documentary is, maybe not that one in particular, but as you read books about them, and I do love them. I've read everything I can. He's the only guy actually from the South.
He's the only one from America.
Robbie Robertson is from Canada, and had a bad falling out. I guess it sounds like it was over money.
It was pretty rough.
Yeah, pretty rough.
They didn't speak till
Yeah, they seem to be two different. It's like when I first moved out to L.A. In the mid '90s.
Yeah.
You saw Robbie Robertson out with a new 17-year-old blonde every night, and he'd be with Scorsese or whatever, hanging out. Sometimes De Niro at this great restaurant, actually, Ago. I'd see him sometime. Good Italian food, and he did that. And Levon Helm literally went to Woodstock. You seem like one of the guys had more integrity, even though I'm a fan of both of them. But that's one of those things where I always said, I don't know. Robbie Robertson seemed fine, like he could run a marathon afterwards.
He seems fine.
I mean, like he was like Levon's hands are bleeding. Like, where's the after party?
And he still looks good today.
He does. He's a talented guy, but I think that's all Levon. All Levon.
He was the passion of the band. You ever see the behind-the-scenes documentary of making of the album, and they show Robbie playing the song? And then and the song that he wrote, I think it was, I don't even remember which song it was, but then it cuts to Levon singing it.
Yeah.
It's a different song.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I like when the Staples in the last waltz play the Wait.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it is. Levon starts out with the first verse, and then I don't know who it is in the Staples. Is it her name is Staple?
Martha.
Is it Marcia Staple?
Mavis
Staple.
Yeah.
She hits that second voice, that second verse. Man, like as great as Levon was, when she goes into that, I'm looking
It's so good. They did it this year at the Grammys.
Oh,
they did a
did.
Levon Helm tribute, and Mavis Staples sang
right.
in it. Yeah, and a lot of other people did too. Elton John. Yeah.
I said, anyway, died with his boots on. The great
Died with his
Levon
boots
Helm.
on, yeah.
Now, is it true that the Elton John song is about him? It's
Yeah,
true,
well,
right?
it was in honor of him. I mean, it's not that Levon loved his money and all that stuff, but they chose to name the man Levon in honor of that. And then above my son's crib, we have a wall hanging that says, "And he shall be Levon, and he shall be a good man."
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
But not he shall count his money.
No, I know. Could there have been better? Could there have been two things about the '60s where, you feel like the establishment won is when the Mercedes-Benz by Janis Joplin officially became the song for a Mercedes-Benz commercial.
Yeah.
That was really okay. They won.
Yeah.
The band. What was the point I wanted to make?
AT&T, Robbie Robertson signed it off to AT&T.
Yes. All their music, man. It's like, whoa.
Levon didn't have any,
Right. No, I know.
It was Robertson's
Of course
choice
he
to
did.
do
That's
that.
part of the reason they were nuts with each other.
That's why they didn't get along.
But it's like, you know, I guess obviously Janis Joplin didn't write that song, but man, that is really, you need the money. That's like, you know, when you give that song to Mercedes-Benz, all the irony, everything is like, yeah, everything it meant, gone.
Yeah.
Just take the cash. I need the cash. Do you enjoy doing the road? Do you go out?
I travel a lot. I mean, I just had a baby, so I'm traveling a little less now. And now I'm traveling with the baby, and I'm like, oh, this is a hassle here.
Right.
But I used to travel all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, I can't do the road taking care of myself. Like, you know, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, staying in hotels with babies is not easy. When we went to the Super Bowl second time,
Yeah.
my son was
He played in 2 Super Bowls. by the way.
13 days old. Well, I was on the sideline. 'cause I was
13 days old.
hurt for the second one. Yeah, he was 13 days old, and we took
Wow.
him to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And they were short on hotels for everyone in Jacksonville. So the one that we were in.
No room at the inn, literally.
Yeah, we realized that was his first plane flight down there at 13 days
Well,
old.
I hope.
Right.
He didn't squeeze in 4 others before.
He hadn't been jet setting before that. We got to the hotel and realized that it was late at night. My wife set up, like, you know, all the accoutrement that you have for a baby, like the breast pump and the bed and the bottles and all that stuff. And the next morning, when the lights were on, there were rat turds all around all these things that he's putting in his mouth. And, yeah. So
I went looking for a place to hide.
so you got to be extra careful. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you never would anticipate or foresee when you have
Terrible.
a child on the road.
That was